Hello everyone, so this is the gaming life here, and I just want to review this game because I always wanted to review this game for so badly. I don't know why I had to do Kirby Air Ride first, but I think I was trying to find an easy thing to review about. But I don't want this to just be a review. I just want to be talking about an experience itself. I mean, this is like that one game that if I never played this game, then I wouldn't even be into video games at all, like period. Well, maybe still because of Pokemon stuff, but this is like that one game that since it had all the characters, different characters from other worlds and stuff, this is like the one that really got me into going to all the worlds and playing their games and from there going to other games that are similar to that. So it was like that passageway from here. You know, then you go to all the Nintendo worlds, and then from there you go to every other video game world. And I mean, if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be playing anything unless I got unlucky. Like there's some people that like their first game is like Madden or something, and then they're playing like some obscure game or something like that. Well, that's just what I'm saying from here. Like I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what I'm saying. Or like those people who just play like those random flash games on the PC. Again, I don't know, but like in school that just happens a lot. But it just feels weird, you know what I'm saying. So I felt like this game was like that good, and it made me want to play other games as well. And it's to the point where I don't even want to watch a review about this game from anyone else, because I think I tried to before, but I just really couldn't, because you know how every reviewer, they're like a critic as well. They always point out like the really cool things about the game, and then the bad things, or like they wish that would have been there, but not to me. I can't really see a flaw with this game. The best I could come up with is maybe the clone characters and the graphics, but the graphics, I mean, that was 2001. I mean, how can you complain about that? Or the clone characters like Dr. Mario and Young Link. Maybe that's a little bit true, but then at the same time, like to me, I'm thinking Young Link it's like the same as regular Link, so why not have the same attacks? That's just how I'm saying it, That's what I'm thinking it should be. And then for Dr. Mario, I mean, he's Mario, but he's in a doctor form, so why not have medical attacks, But that's just, and that itself is just so minor. Like, if you're complaining about that, then the rest of the game is pretty much perfect, because that's just like a little tiny minor thing. So it doesn't even matter at that point. And let's see what else. Oh yeah, so I'm going to tell you how I even got into this game particularly, because before that I was playing Smash Brothers 1, and I have to be honest, the very first one, the N64, comes barely close to me. Like it comes close to as awesomeness, because it is the first one, it is the original one, and people always love the original one better than the sequels and stuff. But this one is a sequel in itself. It has everything better than the first one. Like, how a sequel, like they'll add in things, but then they'll take away things. Well, this one took a few things away, just a tiny bit, like the platforms and looking at the character stuff, their move list and stuff. But then they replaced it with the trophies, and that was like a lot better. And they replaced the platforming with other things. I can't really say like the home run stuff, but this one, like Melee, just added like a whole ton of things. Like I remember like the first one had like 8 characters, that like only 4 unlockable characters, and you could get them pretty easily. And then for this one, they added like a ton of new characters, and there's some that are pretty tricky to get, and you really gotta know how to get them. Like from YouTube, you gotta play the game 24 hours. And then when I was little, I used to think that meant that you had to have the game turned on for 24 hours. And I remember one time when I was little, because I never had a GameCube, but I think my friend let me borrow the GameCube, and I was scared because I didn't want to break it. But I was playing in a map, and then I just pressed pause, and I left the game for like 24 hours. Like I just went to bed and everything. I just left it on, and then I kept playing it when I turned it back on. When I turned on the TV, but the system was still on. And then like when I finished the match, then I finally got Mewtwo, and then I died against it, and I was like, really? But it was funny. Then I figured out. And then like an hour later, he came back, and I was able to beat him and catch him. But it wasn't just 24 hours straight. It was just that you could turn off the game and play it again. It has to be 24 hours. So That was a little funny thing I found out about when it comes to game and play time. Is like it doesn't have to exactly be 24 hours because that's just crazy. But I went through it, I just pressed pause and I just turned off the TV and went to bed and then played it again, you know. And there was like other characters that are pretty tricky. I like how Jigglypuff is like the same, almost the same exact as the first game, just beat the game on easy or something. And Jigglypuff is pretty funny. And I was surprised that Jigglypuff was even back in the in the second game in Melee. Oh, pretty much all the characters are back. Wait, let me see. There's Captain Falcon, Luigi, Ness, and Jigglypuff. And then Captain Falcon, right? Yeah, I think, you know, all the 4 ones there. And yeah, they're all in Melee. That's the other thing too, okay? The Melee had everything the first one did, and then they just brought more characters. And not just more characters, just characters that you didn't even think were going to be in the game, like Mr. Game & Watch, for example. Who is he? I didn't even know who he was for a very long time. Even when I had Melee back then, no one had Mr. Game & Watch. Like, I guess he wasn't that easy to unlock, and I'm like, that's so cool that when I finally got him, it was like, what is this? And I pressed pause, because every time I got a new character, I press pause and I zoom in, I take a look around, see how it is. And Mr. Game & Watch was 2D, and it was just really weird. And then I'm like, oh, I have to get Kirby. And then when I got Kirby and ate him, and then Kirby had that cool, like 3D-ish, 2D-ish form, and like he had the gray outline around it. It was just pretty awesome. And then that's when I knew this game was just more than just a game. It was just something really amazing going on. And then the music in the background, like I said, how this game opens up to every other world, and you hear the music. Sometimes you're hearing a music in the game, and you're like, oh, you know, it's just generic music. But when you play it in the actual game, like let's say you hear a Metroid song in the game, and then when you play that Metroid game that has a song, and then when you go back to Melee, you hear that same 8-bit tone, but like remastered, and you get a better appreciation for that song itself, and it's just really something you know, really awesome. Especially the levels, you don't know where the levels are from, but when you play those outside games, when you go back to Melee, you start liking the game even more than you did, and not many games could do that. Not many games that do that when you play the game and you actually like it more. For me, there's like a lot of games when you play it again, you actually like it a little less and less, maybe because the graphics get outdated or the gameplay gets boring, and there's not that much nostalgia to go back for it. But this one has so much of that, and it's just really amazing. I just really do love what they did with the game here. And oh, don't get me started with the opening. The opening is just really amazing. The graphics, and when you know, like I said, I'm used to the N64 one. Like there's 3D stuff, but it's 2D stuff, but it's just N64 graphics, like 64 bits. But when you see that opening of Super Smash Bros. Melee with all the graphics and colors and the fast speed and everything, you're like, this is the future. This 2001, the year's 2001. Now we're in the future. This is just amazing. Everyone looks realistic. Yoshi looks realistic. He has scales and stuff. He's so realistic. And Ice Climbers. Oh my god, I don't even know who Ice Climber was back then. Like, who are all these random characters? I remember, like I said, I would play Super Smash Bros. 64 a little, when I was little, and my brother would come over. He would beat me a lot. He was really good at the game, but I beat him back later on, of course, because I got better. And we went to a grocery store, and they had the video game magazines, because that was like a big thing back then. Of course, you guys don't know what that is. You know, Game Informer or Nintendo Power. Oh, sorry, that thing's gone now too. But we were looking at the magazine, we were looking at the games, and like, oh, that's cool and stuff. And then we saw like a picture. I don't think the game was out yet. I'm not sure. It was still a long time ago. I can't remember that. But they did had a picture of the characters, like who was gonna be in the character, and the art style was a little different. Like I guess it was a beta thing. And we saw people like Falco. We saw Bowser. We saw Peach, and then we were wondering, wow, even the Princess Peach, like the one that we had to rescue in Mario 64, is actually gonna be in Super Smash Bros. Melee as a character. Okay, I gotta really play the game now to see it. And they also added all the cool Pokemons like Lugia and Ho-Oh, and even Mewtwo. When I think I saw Mewtwo, I was like mind blown. It was like, I always wanted to be that character. That's like the best one the whole time, you know, because back then Mewtwo was like the best of the best, and to me I think he still is. So I didn't really get to play the game till much later. I was with my parents at the mall, and I went to the FYE store, you know, for your entertainment, and I started playing this. I saw this I saw like the game demo of Super Smash Bros. Melee. Someone had the game on pause, and I guess someone left it alone. And then I went to the game, and I was like, "Oh, this is so cool!" And I could see the graphics from far away, and I zoomed in. That's Super Smash Bros. I could tell by the pause menu. And I'm like, "Oh, but I don't." And then I was playing as Ice Climbers in the Ice Climber level. I'm like, "I don't want to do this." So I just pressed pause, pressed the little thing to leave the game. It was kind of confusing at first because a GameCube controller, not an N64 controller. So I quit. I picked Yoshi. I picked the Super Mario Rainbow Cruise level, and I was just having a blast. I just picked Yoshi and Mario, you know, simple stuff. And I pressed pause, look at Yoshi, look at everyone, look at the graphics. And from there, you know, it was like, I fell in love. And every time I would go to my cousin's house, because that was like the main game everyone played. That was like before the Call of Duty Xbox kind of stuff. And now it's gonna be into PC stuff. But everyone, it was like the best like type of party game. It would be like 4 people playing, and it was just really awesome. And then I loved it so much because I played the 64 one a lot, and I would just get better and better at it, and I'll beat everyone. And then I'm like, oh, I'm the king of the world, I'm the best at this. And you know, now it's different with YouTube. Like, I just look at a Melee video and I'm like, okay, that's hacks. And I'm like, wait, they have tournaments for this? And I'm not even that good? And I'm like, wow, I thought I was so good at this, now I feel bad. But at least I'm good at Call of Duty, alright? That's something. But then again, anyone could be good at that game, so... oh well. I am good at Call of Duty 4, and that one takes skill. You should know that. Why am I talking about Call of Duty and Melee? Well, it's kind of fair to talk about it, actually, because Call of Duty does have a lot of hours. I did have, like, 200 hours in Call of Duty 4 around there. And Call of Duty 4 is actually my favorite. I think it has almost 300 hours, and the other one has, like, 100 hours. And then, the Super Smash Bros. Melee, I have 200 hours on one memory card, and that's almost like 250 something, and then another 100 on the other memory card. So that's like around 300, almost 400 hours in those 2 memory cards. And I used to have like an older version of the game where I even played like those like the memory cards I have right now. There's like from my high school days, like maybe early middle school. But before that, like I had other copies of the game like on GameCube and stuff, and I would play those even more because I had no school or anything. I mean, I had school, but like I barely had homework or anything else to deal with, so it was like, you know, and no YouTube, of course, so you were forced to play this a lot, and I had to play so much. So, ooh, I'm kind of getting tired here. Sorry, guys, you know, I've been talking hours and hours here. Well, actually, it's been 12 minutes, actually. I've been speaking without taking a break, but that's all good for me because it's good practice. But yeah, I think you can see why I do like this game. The maps, the music, the graphics. The music, like I said, really awesome. The graphics, the gameplay. The gameplay is so much perfect than the first one. The first one you could only do so much, but this one had like the whole dodging thing, and you could dodge in the air, and it was just... it added a new gameplay style. You could run faster, you could do all crazy things, you could do more combos. The items were even better than before. The one thing I didn't like kind of was the lightsaber, and like in Brawl they made it cooler, but this one it was still kind of nice. And then the little cool touches they did before were like if you get the lightsaber with Mewtwo, he just holds it with his brain, you know, like it's floating, and then when he slashes it spins around and everything. It's really fun and all. And you know, that's just the little things, the taunts and everything, the graphics, the items, you know, all that stuff put together makes this my favorite game ever. And don't let anyone tell you otherwise. You could put on the comments, tell me what your favorite video game is, and we could talk about that later and stuff. Anyways, thank you for watching, and peace.
Super